The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Well, good morning. I'm Paige Clarke, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore our return to a more natural, balanced, wild world.
To regain our rights and freedoms and recover our natural health.
That's
I'm
right.
Nico and Haan.
That's right, Nico and Haan. And it's a beautiful day in downtown Clearwater, 76 degrees.
Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying some nice weather where you are. Please subscribe to our show's Health Signals newsletter. There's great news you can use there with all kinds of links. Comes out twice a month, $10 a month.
Yeah.
And to your email. And also pick up some of our daily nutrition, Primal Edge.
I want to say something about that because next week the sale is going to end at the end of the month. It's $25 off the purchase of that first bottle when you subscribe. Of course, if you're a subscriber already, you get that extra bottle to give away to your friends or in case of emergency.
There you go.
Pick that up. The number here is 877-927-6648. Give us a buzz.
That's right. You can reach us before or after the show at our email, Paige at TFNN.com.
And Nico at TFNN.com. What are we talking about today, Paige?
Well, I've got a couple of things I want to talk about, but I wanted to start with how to do a kidney cleanse to cleanse your health. You know, we're all talking about, I need to detox, I need to cleanse my colon, I need to cleanse my liver, but nobody talks about the kidney.
Yeah.
And the kidney's the boss, really.
Well, it's definitely one of the overworked organs, I think.
There's an old saying in natural medicine, if the kidney ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, kind of like mama. You know?
Yeah, I see that.
And we have to take care of the kidneys because it's really our last chance of filtration. But I thought this might be a good thing because twice a year it would be a good chance. It's really simple to do, maybe a little 3-day process. So let's dive into it for a minute.
So just from the top of my head, if I'm thinking about kidney cleanse, I always thought about cranberries when I was
Cranberries are super for the kidney, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
They're very astringent.
Yeah, so the color has something to do with it, I would think, too. Cranberries, red, and we think about beets. Things
All
like
the
that. The red cabbage.
You got it.
Yeah, things like that. So that's what I'm thinking about.
This doctrine of signatures is very good. And we'll give a couple ideas. But, how does a kidney cleanse boost your health? Why do you want to do a kidney cleanse in the first place? Because, as I mentioned, you've heard of all these other cleanses. The kidneys are the two small organs that sit on either side of your spine and your back.
Here and you have them there, right.
And they're shaped like beans and are responsible for filtering out toxins and waste from your bloodstream that don't belong in your body. And as I said, they're kind of like the last-ditch effort to get the stuff out. If we didn't digest it right in the stomach, it didn't go through the intestines well, the liver has to deal with it.
Right.
Liver ain't happy when it has to deal with a lot of toxins, sends it on over to the kidney.
So when you're detoxing from the kidney, naturally you're talking about the urine. So the urine is what passes these toxins out of your body. And your kidneys are also responsible for the balance of the fluid.
That's right.
And keeping the salt, the potassium, and the acid content at a stable level. That's pretty important.
That's
stuff.
very important stuff, really, exactly. They're very hard-working organs, and they filter approximately 200 quarts of blood per day.
Wow, that's a lot.
So they're working fastidiously, whether you know it or not, Nico. And so what kind of happens? What are some of the things that go on when the kidneys aren't getting the love they deserve?
Well, you get symptoms. And the first symptom you might get would be maybe headaches. It says here stomach ache, feeling nauseous, water retention, bloating, exhaustion.
That's right, because the fluid balance is just everything. And you may suffer kidney stones or kidney disease, but a lot of people think if they don't have kidney stones, their kidneys are fine. And this just isn't the case. This bloating or exhausted feeling, it's really tied to your sexual energy, too.
Really?
See? Yeah, the kidney, that's really the essence of your sexual energy. So if kidney isn't happy, you're going to suffer in those areas. So you want to keep those nice and strong. They regulate certain hormones that affect your health. Your kidneys make the hormones that stimulate red blood cell production. that controls blood pressure and calcium metabolism. And when calcium metabolism isn't working, that's when you're going to get kidney stones.
Okay, so it's building calcium somewhere, but not where you want it.
Right.
Okay.
And that's really tied to acid imbalance.
Yeah.
If your body's having to buffer and pull calcium from your bones, it's getting out into the blood and messing up
I
the pH.
experienced a kidney stone when I first moved to Florida. I started kind of a running regime and just probably not drinking enough water or drinking the right things. And then I developed a kidney stone, and it just moved along my body. Very painful.
Well, again, it's very stressful, right, when you start a new exercise thing. And many people don't realize that exercise and eating can be some of the most stressful things you do for your body. Your body is having to deal with these stressors.
And especially if you're eating something that's not really nutrition, your body really doesn't know what to do with. And that's a lot of modern food, a lot of the packaged and processed food. So your body's not recognizing it, so automatically gets under stress. The other thing, of course, is alcohol. And when I think of kidneys, I think of alcohol and how that puts a stressor on it.
Because there's a lot of dehydration going on there. And again, the fluid balance and electrolyte balance.
So that's why people recommend if you're going to have an alcoholic beverage, have a side of water with it.
Pace yourself with one of each.
Yeah, if you can't drink the water, maybe you shouldn't be drinking the alcohol.
That's right. So what do you do if you want to do a kidney cleanse? Okay, so to improve the function of your kidneys, improve the processes associated with your kidneys, you can do this twice a year, say seasonally.
Okay.
That's season. There's a time for a season, say twice a year, unless you have kidney issues. Then you may want to do this cleanse more regularly. And if you have kidney stones, this can be extremely helpful. And we're going to talk about some of the foods that help. We're going to talk about some of the herbs. The kidney cleanse can be done over a 3-day period, in which you're going to eat only very small meals and mostly liquids. Give the kidneys a little break. It's comprised of herbs.
Yeah, vegetables, certain types of fruits we talked about, and very little protein. Of course, you must always discuss a kidney cleanse with your medical doctor before proceeding. And
standard disclosure.
Everything that we talk about, do your own research and contact somebody that you really trust in the medical community to kind of run it by them and see what that is.
Find a 3 days that suits you well, that you can kind of lighten these things up.
Or something like
Maybe
that?
even stay home and relax for those 2 days. Kind of keep the energy levels low. And what you might expect is you may at first feel some headaches, you may feel tired or feel like you have the flu. And this is perfectly normal, and its symptoms are associated with detoxing.
Yeah, things like nausea, being exhausted, and maybe very thirsty, that feeling that you need to drink more.
Don't push yourself when you're feeling this way, when you're feeling exhausted. This is your body saying, hey, I really want to relax. And I want to cleanse
and that goes
and
with
detox
a lot of
sleep.
things that we talk about, too. Anytime that you feel exhausted, we always have this tendency, I think, in our modern world to push through things because we're told in exercise, well, you got to get beyond that point. I don't think for health-wise that's such a smart idea. I know for gaining certain types of things, in exercise. So if you're a runner, maybe you want to push that a little bit more to get more out of your run down the road when you're racing or something like that. But as far as health is concerned, I don't think that you're pushing those limits.
Some exercise can be entirely too stressful when you're trying to be in a healing. So you might go for a walk or get in the infrared sauna. You can, meditate and just kind of chill out. And, everybody can find some time to do this. Everyone should be taking time out for themselves. And your bladder will need to be emptied, so just rest and chill. So we'll give you a couple more tips on the kidney cleanse when we come back from our break, and then we got some other good stuff for you, so stay with us.
Stick around, folks. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back to the show. We'd like to remind you, very, very important, folks, it's end of summer Primal Edge promotion, $25 off your first bottle of Primal Edge. This is really the best way to start your day. I mean, I take this as soon as I wake up, after I do my pulling, my oil pulling, I take the Primal Edge, I take some perfect aminos. That sets me up for the right day. And I know I'm getting everything I need every single day when I take this.
That's right. It's a good way to start the day. And we want to tell you how to start taking care of your kidneys. We've been discussing how to do a kidney cleanse, why to do a kidney cleanse. And first off, we're going to start, we mentioned that you want to rest and give yourself time for healing.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to have water consumption during the kidney cleanse. You'll drink your normal water.
Right.
Half your body weight.
Half your body weight
Maybe
in
add
ounces.
some lemon.
Yeah. So you convert your pounds to ounces, and then you figure out how much you need. And that's quite a bit of water. And I think especially during a cleanse like this, you need to really load those kidneys up so they can
This helps to move the toxins out. And sometimes you may even pass stones during the cleanse. And if you do, this is a very helpful thing.
Yeah, and
this is the time to remove all the debris that you would expect to see in your liver
and
cleanse.
you think about water, you think about things expanding. So that means those little tracks that go from the kidneys to the
the nephrons.
Yeah, then it's expanding that a little bit. So if you have a kidney stone in there, it's going to move a little bit better, I think.
Well, there's herbs that do that, like stone root. I mean, there's some different herbs that actually, there's other ones like gold coin, Chinese gold coin, that actually help dissolve.
Seems like the Chinese
stones.
knew a lot about
Oh,
herbs.
they did. Well, they were way ahead of us, really.
Yeah.
And
this is an interesting picture here on the Stellustrator. We're talking about citrus here. And, of course, in Florida, we grow a lot of citrus, but, of course, it's not indigenous to Florida. These are
Came
all
from
brought
China.
in. Yeah, came from China. So most of these citrus things
so that's why
were
there's a lot
never
of citrus in Chinese medicine.
Really, and that's the thing I want to get across, is that they use this stuff for medicine, not as a daily beverage that you just take down 10, 12 ounces of. They're talking about taking 2 or 3
Yeah,
or
not
4
like
ounces.
an 8-ounce glass of
Too much
orange
sugar.
juice.
Yeah. And the orange juice, of course, is fortified with sugar anyway, with the sugar cane, so they sweeten up as much as possible. But natural citrus fruits are actually very tart. Even the sweet ones like tangerines are usually in the wild very tart. We've made them sweeter because that's the way our palate goes. But the interesting part is the Chinese people use the rind. They use all kinds of different parts. They didn't use it much for the consumption the way we did it.
Well, that's very true because they want the 5 tastes. They want the bitter, the sour, the hot, the spicy,
that makes sense,
and the sweet. So they wanted all those pieces. So let's talk about what might happen. You know, with your daily eating plan, if you're on a kidney cleanse, you're going to wake up for breakfast.
Right.
You're going to have your water with a little bit of citrus in there to kind of maybe some minerals. And you may start your day with one of my favorite things, super smoothie, a super kidney cleaning smoothie.
Yep.
And what might be in that super cleansing?
Well, here's a list of
smoothie?
contents. This is really nice. 2 green apples, 1 medium beet, a half a cucumber, 1 inch of ginger, which is nice and sweet too, a half a lemon.
Very good.
In your
Yes, they mentioned watermelon or a watermelon smoothie or cranberry smoothie, like you mentioned in the beginning. Very cleansing for the urogenital tract.
Yeah, in fact, the Gracie family was known for taking watermelons and having this bag where you chop it all up and you put it in this bag and you squeeze the watermelon juice out of there. And they have these Gracie bags just to do that because they felt like this was a way to get rid of a lot of things in your body. It's a super, super cleanse and also full of vitamins.
Yeah, so cranberries, so think of that. There's a lot of that lycopene, the red vegetables,
Right.
you know, the beets, the betalains, and so forth. So, yeah, so that's a great idea. For lunch, you might have a blended vegetable soup.
Incorporating
Maybe even
again,
a little
beets.
salad. Maybe you're incorporating something. You'd like to maybe put some of these powerhouses like the beets into your soup or shredded onto your salad.
Yeah.
And then dinner, you might have a small piece of protein.
Yeah, and then along with that, you want to have the spinach or beets, asparagus, cucumber, celery, garlic and onions, kale. These are the type of things that you can do, and you can also use some spices.
Oh, yeah, the spices, a little extra medicine. Turmeric, to lower turmeric and ginger to help the digestive fire. Parsley, parsley is very tonifying to kidney. Parsley tea, very good. So using these spices in your cooking are helping all the time.
Yeah, and I last Sunday I made some nice ribs in my little Instapot, which is boy, they turn out so good, especially if you let that air out really, really slowly, kind of naturally. And when I use my rub, I use, of course, the Himalayan salt and the pepper, but then I put turmeric, and then I put ginger to give it that little sweet, syrupy type of taste.
Oh, I bet you that's delicious. It helps you to digest it when you eat it.
Exactly. So
You know, a lot of our traditional cultures knew they use spices. For example,
not so much for taste, but for digestion.
yeah, well, for example, the Polynesians,
Okay.
they'd have a pork roast, but they'd have pineapple.
Right.
The pineapple's loaded with bromelain, which is a
great enzyme.
protease.
Yeah.
Protease. So let's continue. So we know that we can have a, between the meals, you might want to drink teas. You might want to have, as I mentioned, parsley tea. You might want to have nettles, stimulating for the sex organs. Dandelion, tonifying for all of the liver and kidney. Ginger tea for digestion. So these can all be just a
And I'm
wonderful
thinking
way.
also some of those little spritzes from your citrus can go into tea to make it a little more palatable, a little easier for your kidneys to take. So great thing to do.
So we mentioned that you're going to want to relax during it, and you might enjoy doing some saunas. But there's, as I mentioned, there are other herbal remedies that help cleanse the kidney. And we know that hydrangea, anything that has a hydrangea root, is very healing. It's great support for the body's whole body filtration system.
So roots are really at the center of this when we talk about burdock root. This is a root I often use when I did macrobiotic cooking.
Yeah, it targets your blood purification. It helps their natural filtration. And, of course, turmeric cleans the kidneys and the liver. And and then, of course, we want to make sure we keep the lymph going because the lymph, as we're cleaning things out of the kidney, we want to make sure we're moving it out of the body.
Yeah, an interesting thing, and it says here in Chinese medicine, kidneys are not organs that operate alone. Kidneys are representative
They're the
of
general.
Yeah, the root of their energy for the whole bottle. For the whole body, excuse me. Chinese medicine sees the adrenal glands, the kidneys, and sex organs as one system.
So doesn't it make sense to take care of these? Guys, people just kind of forget about that kidney, and we keep hearing about these other cleanses, but if your sexual energy is feeling a little sluggish,
Instead of taking
think
those
about what
blue
you're doing
and
to
pink pills.
right, think about cleaning out that kidney. Get your jing back.
So
you know?
it could be that all these things that we're talking about, erectile dysfunction and these different things, the sperm count is down worldwide, maybe we're moving too far away from our traditional foods.
Well, we also know that as we get older, really, as our organs are not producing the sex hormones, our our ovaries, our uterus, our
Is it
testes.
because we're getting older, or is it because we've been bombarding them with fake food?
And the kidney's exhausted.
Yeah.
And the kidney can't. Yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. These organs work as a system. Think the adrenal, sex organs, and kidneys as being tied in. And, also we know that the emotions affect our organs and how they behave. And the kidney is associated with the emotions of fear and fright. So, and being fearful of what is, what has been, what's to come, and considering how many people today struggle with fear. And I felt this was important as I was reading. I was thinking about the fear we have every day of what's going on in the world. We need to support this kidney. This kidney is really...
So detoxing from media might be another detox that we want to take part in.
A media detox. This makes sense when you realize that in any moment of fight or flight, we pump out cortisol. And these excess cortisol and adrenaline from our adrenal glands just absolutely exhaust the kidney and adrenal system. So, hope you find this helpful and maybe find some time. A great book to look up, you can get it on Amazon, is The Essential Kidney Cleanse. It's written by Lauren Feltz, a personal friend of mine. It's an excellent book. And we've got to take a short break, but we'll be back with good stuff, news you can use.
Right, folks.
Living a Primal Lifestyle.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle, and let's talk a little bit about the science behind honey's eternal shelf life. I think this is really a cool thing and another fabulous healing food if used in the right way. And what is it that makes it so special? Modern archaeologists excavating ancient Egypt tombs have found something very unexpected, Nico.
Yeah.
And they found artifacts. They found pots and all kinds of things, but what they found was actually pots of honey, thousands of years old and still preserved through millennia. They're finding that this food remains unspoiled, an unmistakable testament to its eternal shelf life.
And it's interesting because it's the only food that is preserved in its edible form. Remember, we know that we find rice and other types of seeds in it, but of course you can't eat them. You have to plant them and let them grow into a plant. Salt is pretty much keeps forever in a sealed place, but you're not going to eat salt directly. You're going to use it as a condiment. So this is really the only food that you can keep, and once you lock that in with a jar or something that you can lock it into, it's going to stay that way for 1,000 years, which is a beautiful thing, as long as the oxygen doesn't get to it.
And I say if a food's immortal, then I want that food going in my body. And I just say, again, when we talk, a lot of people, I wanted to add a little sweetness. Because when we're talking about a low carbohydrate food and so forth, there's so many people will say, oh, honey will spike, but I think there's medicine in honey. And that's what I want to make. Honey's longevity it has great properties. Not only does it taste great, but it's a mainly medicinal food, that are resilient, that other foods just simply don't have. What exactly makes it so special?
Well, I think it's the way the bees make it.
Exactly. And it's as complex as the honey's flavor. If you don't get a good food source with expiration dates without a whole slew of factors working in perfect harmony with honey, honey is a beautiful art food. It really is.
First, we have to say, of course, the first thing that's on your mind is the honey is a form of sugar, but it's in a different type of form. It's not like a sugar cane or a sugar beet.
Yeah, this says sugars are hygroscopic, a term that means they contain very little water in their natural state but can readily suck in moisture if they're left unsealed. There's an executive director of the Honey and Pollination Center at the University of California. She says honey in its natural form is very low moisture. Very few bacteria or microorganisms can survive in an environment like that. They just absolutely die.
Yeah, they kind of smother it.
Yeah. That's a nice thing to know, too, about, say, skincare products and so forth. Bacteria will grow where there's water and moisture, but without that, they won't.
Harris points out that an important feature of honey's longevity, for honey to spoil, there needs to be something inside of it that can spoil. With such an inhospitable environment, organisms can't survive long enough in that jar of honey because it won't spoil. It'll surround them and kind of smother it. Honey is naturally extremely acidic.
And we know that a lot of our acidic foods actually produce a healing alkaline environment in the body. Apple cider vinegar, lemons, citrus fruits. So very interesting.
So this is probably why honey itself, unless you overconsume it, would not spike your sugar. Because there's other processes involved.
I think there's a real over pushing of alkalizing the body, in the media. We need to alkalize our body. No, actually, and there's a great site too, guys, if you ever want to go check it out. It's called J. Crow.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of Tibetan influence, but they teach about Lugol's iodine and apple cider vinegar and all the work of Dr. J. Jarvis, who was an old veterinarian in Vermont. But my point is, it's about getting the right balance, and the balance, there's never an extreme. And when I met with my acupuncturist yesterday, that's the whole thing. Don't eliminate everything. Create balance.
Yeah, and we want these food to do the reactions for us. We don't want the food to directly do this. They want to do it kind of indirectly.
So this is the cool thing about honey. It's got a pH, as we said, it's acidic. It's low. It's between 3 and 4.5, right. So it's low, just a few point or so above the stomach. And this acid will kill off almost anything that wants to grow there.
Right.
They're using Manuka honey, a special honey, primarily, New Zealand and so forth. Very expensive, but very good. But they're using that in wound care in hospitals now.
They put it directly on the wound,
and to fight MRSA.
Yeah, and Harris says here, so bacteria and spoil-ready organisms must look elsewhere for the home. The life expectancy inside honey is just too low.
That's not where they're going to hang out. So you don't have to worry about your honey getting old. But honey isn't the only food source out there that's hygroscopic. I never heard of that word before that.
Yeah.
Molasses, for example, which comes from the byproduct of cane sugar, is extremely hygroscopic and is acidic, though less so than honey.
It's 5.5.
Yeah. But this is the neat thing, too, about molasses. I always tell people is if you have gray hair, you start taking a little spoonful of molasses, and it's high copper content.
Okay.
Helps to reverse hair coloring.
Oh, cool.
Isn't that neat? Eventually, molasses, though, it says it will spoil. So honey still outdoes it there.
Right.
And this is a magical food produced by magical creatures. The bees are truly magical.
And bees play a big role in our society as far as pollinating things. And we've gone to the last few hundred years of really helping the bees pollinate things. So we have pollinators out there because we have less and less bees.
I wouldn't go so far as to say we've been helping them. We've been hurting them. We've got companies like Monsanto that are spreading their toxic pesticides, and our bees are dying.
I certainly wasn't talking about those people. I'm talking about in the natural Chinese horticulture. They do help the bees, and they go out there to their orchards, and because they know there's not enough bees.
And we're getting a lot more people that are starting to create beehives on their properties, and we should probably all do that to help the honeybee because it's such a crucial.
Well, stop the pesticides. That'll help the honeybee right there.
I think that's the best thing that we could do.
Worst,
yeah. So it's been used for centuries as a medicinal remedy, honey has, because it's so thick, it rejects any kind of growth, so used to heal wounds, and it contains hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is actually produced inside of the honey, and it creates the perfect barrier against infection for wounds. And they've been using it, the ancient research says, back since Sumerian times. In the Sumerian clay tablets, they were talking about the use of honey. And they used it in 30% of their prescriptions. I think it's fascinating to read, ancient text about medicine. You really realize that they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, we know so little about those people. It's a shame that a lot of these documents that were destroyed in both worlds, not only in the Egyptian cultures, but also, when the Romans came in, they destroyed a lot of that and a lot of information in Alexandria. But also when the white man came over to South America and to North America, they destroyed a lot of the written material by the Aztecs. They were written on stone, a lot of these things. So a lot of these magical formulas they used for thousands of years, we don't know anymore. So we really have to hang on to these types of things. Destroying manuscripts and things from other cultures is one of the things we always did. Kind of like destroying the statues these days. It's kind of silly, but I understand what they mean.
Well, I don't think we should destroy any part of culture. I don't agree with any of that that's going on.
No, I think they belong in museums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't, that's just my personal opinion.
As opposed to being out in the...
Yeah, and out the public. I don't think the government should be paying for statues. I think if you want to have one on your property, that's fine. You have the right to do that. And, otherwise, museums, I think, are a great place where people can go and learn these things. Seeing it out in the square doesn't, but I'm not a patriotic type of person. I don't believe in flags and all that stuff either.
One last tip about honey, because we get off track, but it's fun getting off track with you. But if you buy your honey from the supermarket, that little plastic bottle is probably heated, strained, and processed, that it contains 0 particulates. So seek out a raw, unheated honey. If you need help, you can contact us. We can help you get the best honey. We'll be right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi folks, the 800th edition of the Gold Report will be published next Monday. To celebrate the last 15 and a half years of calling the gold market, I'm doing a special promotion. You can receive 60 weeks of the Gold Report for only $600. That is $10 a week, which is a savings of 50% off the regular price. If you want to understand the entire supply and demand equations that move the gold market, including where the XAU, HUI, and mining equities are looking to trade, if you want to understand the correlation between the dollar, the yen, the South African rand, bonds, and gold, the Gold Report is for you. I'll give you the entry price target, and stop for each equity, ETF, future, or option trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter with the focus on building real wealth to a successful portfolio of gold and silver equities. You can take advantage of this special promotion until August 27th. That's 60 weeks of the Gold Report for $600, which is a 50% savings. Go to the front page of TFNN.com or call 877-518-9190 and order now.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back to the show, folks. Number here is 877-927-6648. Of course, thinking about these different kinds of foods makes me think also about the type of sensitivities that people have for certain foods. And
many times the need to detox and these organs have gotten stressed is because they've had ongoing food sensitivities that they weren't aware of.
Okay, that's a reason for sure to start getting... And they say that these food sensitivities... cover about 3/4 of our population. So, I mean, it's kind of epidemic. And they have a real effect on both your health and your weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And really, the symptoms are vague: constipation, headache, lethargy, weight gain. And the situation is that the exposure is frequent. We're eating 2, 3, 4 meals a day for many people.
Many times,
snacking. So the body is keeping a constant exposure or blow to the immune system. So we'll see many things going on: inflammation, weight gain.
Yeah, and it might be
diseases.
that you're getting these food sensitivities because you're over-consuming some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I think
we're getting them from the wrong places, as we always say.
Yeah, and when I think about our modern types of food living, we're talking about eating 2 or 3 different types of meat, maybe having 5 or 6 different kind of vegetables in a month. That's not a lot of diversity. I think our ancient ancestors had much more diverse type of diet. So this is maybe where we can run into problems. And not eating seasonally. If you're eating the same thing all year around and you're in a climate that's changing all the time, you're not in sync with your climate. You're not in sync with the earth.
That's exactly right. The circadian balance in our life is circadian, meaning go with the flow of the time of light cycles. And of the food. And, you know, a food sensitivity, this is the thing, it's called a food intolerance. It's caused by an inability to digest. And it occurs in the digestive tract and not the bloodstream. It's happening in the gut. And these symptoms many people don't tie it to the food, Nico, because it comes in a delayed onset where the symptoms don't appear for hours or even sometimes days. So people don't connect that, geez, every time they eat this or that food, they start itching, and they don't realize that it's the food because the time has elapsed.
And this is a real good idea for keeping diaries and notes and things like that. If I'm feeling bad in the morning, I always think, okay, what did I do yesterday? As far as, consumption of things that I normally don't eat. Or sometimes it's just the over-processed food.
So that's a food sensitivity. They're not fixed. They can come and go, and it can really be based on how your immune system's functioning. The more your immune system feels stressed, the more sensitive. It may be that the foods you're eating all the time are bothering you.
Yeah, think of, you put something in your mouth and a couple of seconds later you start sneezing.
that should be a clue.
Right there.
Right, but don't be surprised if you're sneezing 2 days later and you have to say, why am I sneezing? Was it something I ate? It probably was. Everyone blames it on the environment. Now, as an aside, food allergies are different than food sensitivities. Though the two terms are commonly used interchangeably, a food allergy is, you might conjure like the worst case scenario, like a life-threatening peanut allergy.
Right. Your throat closes up,
right.
you swell from seafood or something like that. Yeah.
That's often. Gluten intolerance has characteristics of both being food intolerance and food allergies, as it causes a reaction in the gut and the immune system.
So let's talk about a few of the food sensitivities, and I think these are probably the most common types of foods that we eat. And the first thing on the list is the GMO, genetically modified foods, which
let me make a preface here. See, with food sensitivity, everyone has the potential to develop a food sensitivity, particularly under the stressful world we're in. And if you're feeling like you're sluggish and things aren't working exactly the way they are, one of the best things you can do, in addition to supporting an organ by doing a detox, is to eliminate the offenders. So the immune system can get a rest and say, thank God she didn't throw that down the gilly again. So what are the common food sensitivities? GMO foods, just if it's GMO, it's got to go. One of my snicklets, okay? Just in general, be picky about your sourcing.
The second one is gluten, which is in wheat or rye or barley and some other types of oats.
Mm-hmm. And then dairy, and primarily commercial dairy, but at a time when you're feeling food sensitive, it's best to eliminate all these offenders and then add them back in.
Right.
Next one is corn or eggs. And why do you think it's eggs? 2 reasons.
Well, overconsumption perhaps, but also I think the
chickens have been fed. They're being fed corn and soy and all these GMO type foods.
And then they're also fed antibiotics.
Well, and the other thing is that they're used in culturing vaccines.
There you go.
So sometimes people will have sensitivities to eggs and soy, of course, because it is a GMO and it's good. I mean, it's got enzyme inhibitors, soy prepared, and tree nuts, almonds, cashews, walnuts, all of these.
Yeah, pecans, pistachios,
Brazil nuts, all of these can be creating some sensitivity. And then the nightshades are the vegetables that, for some people, can create a food sensitivity. I think all of these are healthy foods, Nico.
Yeah.
But at times, people have to leave them.
Yeah, some of the starches I don't agree with. Of course, potatoes are nightshades, tomatoes, we know peppers, all the different colored ones, eggplant, tobacco naturally, and spices, peppers like cayenne and chili. They can be, if used in spice, not so much, but a good idea to cut them completely out. One thing they don't mention here in nightshade is a peanut. Mm-hmm. Peanut is on a vine, and it's in a nightshade. It's not actually a nut.
So that might be some of the reasons that people have extreme reactions.
And the other thing is the citrus, what we talked about in the previous segment, that we're going to be using as a kidney cleanse can be something that impacts you negatively also.
Well, especially when you're drinking 8 ounces of it for breakfast and giving yourself a blood sugar. But that little squeeze of a lemon into a tea, not so much,
And then some of the fermented products can also do this, like the yeast, brewer's yeast, baker's yeast.
Even some vinegars.
Yep.
But the causes of the food sensitivities, like we said, let's hit some of those points real quick, Nico. We know that people suffer from food allergies or food sensitivities where they have too much of one food. How many people do you know that eat the same things over and over? And then they wonder why they have a big belly, because their body is saying, I've flagged that food as an invader. Mm-hmm. That bothers me, and I don't want it anymore. And yet we keep shoveling it down the galley. So,
leaky gut syndrome is another one. The digestive tract plays a real key role in preventing illnesses and disease by putting up a barrier.
Yes, and when the lining of the gut is inflamed due to these food sensitivities, we get the tight junctures spread.
Right.
And then food particles leave the digestive system.
Go into the bloodstream.
And then the body's immune system says, hey, you don't belong here.
Right. So
and then we start getting a fight, and many times we have the inflammation, and sometimes other organs in our body become collateral damage. This autoimmune thing is actually our body is not attacking itself. It's attacking an invader, folks. The body just happens to be getting in the way. So, a lot of people go, when I say I don't believe in autoimmune disease per se, I do believe in autoimmune conditions, but it's more of a collateral damage thing than a primary offense.
Yeah. And then the deficiency of probiotics. In other words, if you're not getting enough probiotics, if you're not using yogurt or sauerkraut or some of these natural fermented products, or even supplementing these days, I think is important with a probiotic that you change once in a while, maybe seasonally. I think is usually the way I do it.
My feeling is that the probiotic foods are a much richer source of fermented foods, because we need those. But so just in general, staying in chronic stress, the emotional situations, exposure to toxins in our environment, all this overworked immune system creates a situation where we can have food intolerances.
Yeah, and I think today this plays a huge role. People are really stressed to the max with the work and with the news and with the TV and all this stuff. And of course, genetics probably plays some role in there. I don't think
For some people,
it's the last
remember,
thing
genetics are just the gun. You have to decide whether you pull the trigger with your environment.
Yeah, lots of type of sensitivities out there. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
And welcome back. And we're talking about sensitivities to food. It's interesting that some of the foods that we mention in one form can impact you negatively, but then in its probably better form, preferred form, it wouldn't be a problem. And one thing you always mention is the milk.
Yeah.
Milk from the type 1 cow or the type 2 cow.
Yeah,
we'll
get to that. But that's really what you and I are all about.
Yeah.
Avoiding food sensitivities by making better choices.
And preparing your food differently.
In the sourcing of our foods.
Yeah.
And that's what living a primal lifestyle is, getting back to a cleaner source. First off, on these different food forms is GMOs. As I said, I have a sniglet. GMOs, they got to go. Mm-hmm. And really upgrading your food choices to wild-grown or certified organic if you grow them yourselves and you know then that's great.
And then a lot of times when we talk about GMOs, we're talking about types of seeds. And we know if we soak the seeds and get some of those bad things out, I'm not talking about the GMO seeds now, I'm talking about the pure seeds that haven't been messed with. And then you still have to prepare them. You have to soak them, and you maybe want to sprout them, and then they become no problem for you.
You can get a list of the top 10 GMO foods to avoid. See the GMO alert, top 10 genetically modified foods to avoid eating. Just snap a picture of that and think about that when you're shopping. Number 2 is gluten. In general, we've talked about this exhaustively, but gluten is not the same. Wheat is not the same crop that it was, years and years ago.
I think of gluten when I was in art class.
Well, that's the name, like paper mache.
Exactly.
Water and glue. I mean, it really kind of...
says it all.
It says it all. So, that's something that you want to eliminate when you're really looking at food sensitivities.
And the big one is the dairy that I mentioned earlier. Yeah.
Conventional milk versus organic milk versus, even better, raw milk. Conventional dairy, contains the antibiotics, the growth hormones, and these animals have been eating the GMO feed.
Yeah.
And these can cause allergic reactions, but raw milk is a whole nother animal. Unpasteurized living food with all kinds of healthy microorganisms living in there are wonderful.
And explain to the people the different types of cows, too, because there's a real difference.
Well, we have a really good article, and I think I'll open with that next week, or we'll put it into our thing. It's, are you drinking the wrong kind of milk?
Yeah.
See, in the most of the world, and this is interesting, folks, in most of the world, they have the A2 cows, and it's the type of casein, beta casein A2. The majority of the world has this type of cow. It does not cause inflammation. Would you believe that what we're raising in the United States is the beta A1, which causes digestive distress and inability to digest? I literally go to my food co-op and I get A2 unpasteurized raw milk.
From pet food.
Yeah, right, for pet sources,
Yeah.
But the point is that we want to get the right species of milk, and the cows that do that are really like your Jersey cows,
So let's go on. So corn, some people who find it difficult to digest corn, but if you sprout corn, we find that digestive problems most of the time goes away.
Right. And again, corn is one of the heavily GMO'd seeds, so you wouldn't eat eggs. And again, we mentioned because this protein, they're sensitive to it many times, it's because of what the chickens were fed.
And remember, the protein is the white part, the fat part, which is the egg yolks, no problem.
And soy in this country is genetically modified. And although we cite that Asian cultures have enjoyed soy for health, they didn't eat it in the form that we're offering it to our American folks. And I cringe when I go to the grocery store and I see postmenopausal women grabbing the soy, processed soy food in the carton. And I want to say, go get some fermented.
Yeah, you go to the macrobiotic section, and there you'll find the miso.
Go get the miso soup, and then you'll be in a different situation.
So there's a lot of things. We're running a little short on time, but we talked about nightshades and things like that. I think if you're sensitive to nightshades, just eliminate them. It's probably better.
That's right. And so we will have to see you all next show. Hope you have a great week. And
reminder, folks, please pick up the Primal Edge. We have that great promotion going on. It's going to end real soon, so do it before the weekend comes. And
we'll see you next week.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.